This is Bloomberg Markets. I'm Julie Hyman, and it's time now for Options Insight. Joining me from the CBOE in Chicago is Scott Bauer. He's CEO of Prosper Trading Academy. Scott, it's great to see you. We've been talking a lot about these Alphabet earnings that are coming tonight. We, of course, have Facebook and Amazon later in the week. I'm curious what the chatter is around the FANGs, especially after we saw them sort of come down post-Netflix.
Yeah, it's really just a dichotomy in the marketplace right now, and everyone's kind of wondering, traders here on the floor too, is Google going to drive the others? Is Facebook going to drive the others? Or are these stocks going to, finally maybe start trading on their own? Or are they really just going to trade as a sector? So obviously that'll start in, the next 45 minutes or so once we see Alphabet earnings, and we'll see what happens.
And you're watching some of the other companies that are out with earnings. One of them is 3M. That's what your trade has to do with today. The company's out with its earnings, I believe, later this week or next week. So what are you looking at doing as a setup for that?
Yeah, I think right now, both from a technical and a fundamental standpoint in 3M, very, very bearish. So I'm buying a put spread going out to next week, August 3rd expiration, buying the 195, 190 put spread. Do that for about $1.25 or so. So fantastic reward to risk. The reason I'm choosing those strikes, Julie, is because the expected move in 3M out to next week is about $8 or so, kind of targeting that short strike around 190. I just think there's so much pressure to the downside here that unless they come out and have spectacular guidance moving forward, there's going to be a move lower here.
Yeah, which sounds perhaps a little bit like the FANG setup as well. And in 3M, of course, within the industrials, there's been a lot of talk about the industrials because of trade concerns. How much are you looking also to any commentary from the company around that?
Yeah, you would think that they would come out and say that there's some concern, but that maybe they're going to reduce guidance because of it, or at least just be a bit more cautious. I would be really surprised if they didn't talk to that, if they didn't have any sort of rhetoric, obviously due to the trade concerns.
And what are you expecting in terms of broad market throughout, for the balance of the earnings season here? Do you think the tone is going to be set by the FANGs this week, or do you think, we've been going sort of sideways thus far overall during earnings thus far?
We have been, and everybody's really watching the FANGs closely, but lo and behold, all of a sudden the banks, the financials have broken out, obviously because interest rates are popping, the 10-year is really popping. So you have really a push and pull in the overall market right now. So yeah, this week is going to be the FANGs, but I think now the market is now trading on the news of the day and not really looking at one overall sector to either lead or take the market down.
All right, micro-driven by all those earnings reports. Thank you so much, Scott Bauer. Great to see you joining us from the CBOE in Chicago.